truly evil.
Keep my enemies closer. He's like, scared away.
I've got the dark energy, so.
Yeah. I got
All right, everybody, welcome. How are you, everyone? Good to see you. How did it get to be 3 o'clock on Sunday here? I don't know. But finally, I say finally, we've got to this point, and I'm really happy to have spent the weekend with all of you, and I'm really happy to have all of these wonderful people here, and we're going to start with our amazing Empress of Evil herself.
Are we the only ones here?
For now we are, so that's okay. So
okay.
we'll have some fun with it. And we've got Rita Repulsa herself, Carla Perez.
You too. Thanks for coming, guys.
Woo!
Fun?
Amy, how are you? Good to see you.
Thank you, I'm good. I'm Amy Rolle from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy.
Give it up.
And I'm Campbell Cooley. I've done 18 years worth of voice work on Power Rangers, Monsters, Villains, Alpha 6, and occasionally I got to be on screen, so I got to see it.
Coming out this weekend and having a good time. I'm sure we've got some questions from the audience, but we'll get to some of those as time goes on. But I'd like to start with one for each of you. And Carla, for you, that would be you're stepping into the role of Rita as kind of a replacement face in the second season. Because what was it like stepping onto the show and working with Ed and all the others in that particular set?
Well, it was different because, you know, I had never had a role where I went and didn't really audition. I had a screen test. And I didn't know anything about the actor, or there was another actor I was stepping into. And when I got the part, I was just like kind of bewildered because she was like a 60-year-old woman, and at the time I was like 23. I was like, why? I don't understand. But I guess the director saw something and he's like, no, you don't understand. There's going to be a storyline, and you're going to have to, you're going to be participating as an older Rita. You know, that's why they put prosthetics and wrinkles on me. And then they're going to give you a potion when you become younger. So you're a younger version of Rita. So it made a lot more sense then. And I enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed playing an older woman because, you know, she was a lot of fun. She was crazy. And they told me to make her a little more humorous. So that was a fun aspect too. And, you know, when you play a villain, you're not in that little goody two-shoe box. You can kind of, you know, get away with a lot of things. So that's what I enjoyed.
Awesome. Very cool. Moving down the road a few years to Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. That was a really cool season too, of course. A little bit different than some that have come before. A little bit grown up, if you could call it that. And you get to step in. You the daughter of this weird puppet creature thing.
Scorpius. Yeah.
Scorpius, indeed. What was the set? What was the environment like for that show? How did you get casted involved with this?
Well, it was just an audition. Like, you know, that day I had maybe like 4 or 5 auditions, and all over the city in LA, it was still in LA back then. And I had to go all the way out to Magic Mountain to where the set was and do my audition. It was at the end of the day. It's like an hour drive, so I was like, do I go? And I don't even, whatever. So I went, and then I was like, no, I shouldn't have gone. I wasted my time, and then they're like, yeah, we want you back. I was like, oh, okay. So I really didn't know what I was getting into when I did it. Usually as an actor, or in my experience, you're just auditioning for as many things as you can and hoping that something comes through. Yeah, so when it eventually, I did book it, I was just happy to have something kind of like regular, you know, like, okay, I can kind of stop the tap dancing, like trying to go for what, you know, and know what I'm going to be doing for the next year. So it was really just a job. And originally, I was cast as a recurring character because my dad, Scorpius, was the main villain initially. And then they had one encounter with him moving him to location, and they're like, you must die. You must drive yourself to set every day, because he was really heavy, like 400-pound puppet. So it took a lot of people to move him around and make him look like he was alive. So for me, it was a it was a nice turn of events. I ended up getting a much more, money out of it than I was originally planning to get. But it was a lot more of a time commitment too, so I enjoyed it.
Oh, there's Zordon.
Now,
You're too good guy to sneak in.
seeking the detective, there he is, the big floating head. So, welcome, sir. Glad you're here. Now, Campbell, we're down here with you for a minute. You started on Power Rangers in what year?
2005.
2005 was the first, and you voiced tons of characters. What was your first, if you remember?
Right, so I had been brought in to audition for SPD. I was not the demographic when the show came out. I didn't know a lot about Power Rangers, other than I didn't even know it was filming in New Zealand when they offered the audition. And I went in and I was absolutely petrified. This was my first professional voice audition, and I remember I was shaking in the recording booth. I was so petrified. And I got it, and they liked me, and they brought me back, and I was shaking the next season for Mystic Force. And by the time we got to Alpha 6 and Operation Overdrive, I was like, yeah, let's do this, all right.
That's awesome. And coming on full term for a full season, that's pretty awesome. Maybe the main lead villain. Do you have a story about being on the set, though? Kind of with some of the costume characters?
I do. So I hadn't spent a lot of time on the set, and Beast Morphers was probably the first time I snuck onto the villain set. And it was like, I think at that time it was the Crystal Dimension. And I walked in, it was this warehouse, it's like big, it's like the size of a football stadium. And I walked in and it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in the Crystal Dimension. And I looked over and I could see the suit actors for Sprocket and Evox. They didn't have their heads on. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, I was trying to hide in the background. And the third AD saw me and she walked over and she said, who are you? And I went, I'm the voice of Sprocket. And she went, you wait right there. And so she goes over to the director and clearly tells him who I am. And then he says, he sends her off, and she goes and gets the suit actor, Koji Mamora, who was the suit actor for Sprocket. And he comes running over. He's very confused, and he's kind of waddling in his suit, like he has no idea what's going on. And he starts talking to the director, who was also Japanese, and they're just talking Japanese. And occasionally he would glance at me, and so it was obvious the director was telling him who I was, and Koji was like looking, and he went, and I was mortified. I was like, oh my gosh, I do not deserve that bow. So that was my introduction to the first villain set, and really the sets were amazing. I just loved being on the sets.
Let's see, Kerrigan are here. Come on down, very good there. Very cool. Some more voices. That's a Come on down, find a spot to be and enjoy it. Now, David, welcome to you. Thank you for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thanks for including.
Absolutely. Now, your time on Power Rangers is memorable, albeit very brief, right? Because we see you in hundreds of episodes, your face is always there, but they didn't equate to you doing it hundreds of times.
No. They had filmed the character one time. I was only on the film set for 5 hours, and then they just used that footage over and over for the life of the character.
But the residuals, maybe.
I get an ice cream sandwich every month. It's fantastic.
That's gravy train, bro.
It is.
Well, welcome to everybody. Barbara, welcome to you. Always a pleasure having you. The first Rita also, of course. Very fun. And Kerrigan, I hope you had a fun time this weekend. It's always
I don't think I've laughed harder. I don't know why, but I've had more laughing at this con. Not because I make so much money.
It's always good.
It doesn't matter how many many years, I still have to put up with this shit.
And vice
And
versa.
vice versa, okay, right, yeah, well, sorry. Anyway, what was your question?
Oh, I didn't know that. Just acknowledging earlier.
I'm having a ball, I'm sorry it's over, that's bullshit too.
The important thing is it's a fun way to get it done. They always fly by. Speaking of flying by, I didn't even get to meet you. It's nice to see you. I'm Steve. This is Holly. Everybody give it up. It's nice to have you here. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me all the way from New Zealand.
Yeah.
You've spoken to me. Some of you get fright when I talk in my Kiwi accent. It's a Kiwi accent.
I was actually going to just use it on the show. It sounds so much
Oh
cooler.
no, when I did Mystic Force,
Yeah.
Richard got to use his Australian accent. We're all very
I was
jealous.
going to say, is it basically only one, right?
Yeah, just one. Only one of you can do that. It would have been a bit weird if there'd been too many of us.
That makes good sense. Now, you know, Mystic Force, of course. Was that your first foray into the Power Rangers? Or did you watch Power Rangers or know about it prior?
Oh no, actually Power Rangers was banned in New Zealand for a while. We were too violent because we're so sensitive over there apparently. Although I have small children and they go, how did that happen? So lots of people back home didn't grow up with it. It plays now, but back then, you know, we were doing a show for everyone else and we didn't really realise how much of a big fandom it did have over here.
It's great to have. Well, we're glad you made it here, finally out here to Orlando.
Thank you, it's
been
been great.
Excellent, excellent. Do we have some audience questions out here for some of these fine folks? I think we're going to start with a cool green jacket right over there. Oh, I forgot. I don't even have to do that. Excellent. Give it up for Dawn, everybody.
I'm actually gonna say it's awesome seeing all of you guys. Zordon, it's awesome to see you. Kind of weird not seeing you in the tube though.
You don't bring the tube with you?
We should bring a tube and just set up inside of there.
It's really kind of hard to travel around a large spa with me. I do miss the spa-like atmosphere inside the tube. It was awesome.
Collect some fast from COVID.
There you go.
I do have a question for Rita. Has being at this convention and seeing all of these Rangers given you such a headache? Damn straight, buddy!
To make it realistic, you should stand behind Carla and just duck down and say it, and she'll act.
I'll say it. I'm sorry, I'll say it. Damn straight!
Oh man, guys, that's fun. Awesome. Ooh, we're gonna hand it right over here. I'm gonna beat your head.
In all of the cons and everything, I know fans bring gifts. What is one of your favorite gifts that a fan has maybe brought you, not purchased from you, but something maybe they made or thoughtfully brought to you or had you sign?
They bring such nice stuff.
Oh, incredible stuff.
Wonderful stuff.
I have a crocheted Rita doll.
Oh.
Oh my God, it's so incredibly done. So much specific stuff on it. I don't carry it with me because it's, you know, it's a timepiece. It's something I want to keep safe. But that, and also what J.C. Alcantara, I don't know if you know him, he's an artist here, made a Rita sculpting that is, because she didn't have dolls in the beginning.
Oh, that's right. Well, they did, but it wasn't like
No,
it
it
was
was-
now. She had like 2 dots on it.
Yeah, it was alive, you know, there's no real action figure in it. But those two were incredible.
I was actually given a Trakeena doll many, many years ago at Power Morphin by an aspiring toy maker. He had made himself a Trakeena doll that was about this tall, and then the smaller ones, like the action figures of the Rangers, I think he had used another one and kind of erased the details and then changed it to a Trakeena doll, but it was impressive. Hopefully he's working as toy. He gave it to me if I would sign the larger one for him. And I mean, that one I hold near and dear to my heart. It's probably very time consuming. And then I don't remember, his name was Dion. I hope you see this, Dion. But then more recently I got a coaster. I don't know, it's a stone coaster and it has like a cool anime looking Trakeena head on it. And I use that, it's by my bedside. So I use it every day for my water glass by my bed. Yeah. So
Fans are so talented. They come up with a lot of great
yeah,
stuff.
that's very impressive.
It was one year where one of the fans was making everyone, I'm not sure if everyone, but they came and gave us these fabulous shit, these eggs that were made out of real eggshells. But they were the characters, so I have a Rita one. I know, that's right, yeah. It was so intricate, and it's like eggshells, like if you, I mean, it was so like delicate.
Yeah.
But it was really impressive, so yeah, that was one of them.
That was a good one.
I think for me, I mean, I've been doing some really beautiful stuff, but the one that probably took the most time to make, it was like this banner, and it was kind of, it had been knitted, the whole thing had been knitted, and when you looked at it, it was Alpha 6.
I've only done two, this is my second. I did Power Morphin last year, and so we made a full diorama of the whole cast, and there were a lot of us there, so that was lovely. Got a little kind of cut out standing figure of Camille. But also today, my friends gave me like I'm sorry, I can't really remember the original. I was quite young. But a friend gave me a pack of the 1995 collector's cards, and I got a Goldar. So I'm like, was it probably, yeah. So I got this guy. You probably got some of those, right?
I don't think so.
Here we go. We'll pass it down. You can have it. There you go.
That's cool.
Pass it down. You have it. You take it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to open it and everything. I got to open the packet. They're all stuck together from 1995.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I did.
That'll fit in your carry-on.
It's a beautiful segue.
Yeah.
I've received so many personal things, and I'm always fascinated that people take this kind of time. Just this weekend, her name is Courtney, and she made these beautiful little, like knitted, crocheted or whatever, of both my Magna Defender and Goldar. And I was like, my God, how long did this take to make? Well, you know, about 3-4 hours each. Oh my God. How do I charge you for an autograph? Well, I don't. But I've received, so much stuff over the years. A beautiful clay figurine that, you know, an artist kid that just took so much time to make this of Goldar. I think one of the things that got me the most was a handwritten, beautiful note when I did a show in Sioux Falls, Voices for Cancer, and this doctor puts on this big, huge show and that sponsors the whole thing. And it was really the note that she wrote that wiped. Yeah, that's enough. Okay.
Let's start
It's pretty cool, but you know, you don't realize how much you think you're going in and doing a job, knocking it out, and hitting the road and going on to the next audition or the next job. You just don't realize, even to this moment, how much you've
Your impact is huge.
how much you've, you know, how much you've affected people's lives, you know. So once again, it's awesome to, you know, be here and be a part of it all. Thanks.
I think it goes both ways, where you feel appreciative of us, but we, as your fans, feel appreciative of you for inspiring, or in some cases frightening us as we celebrate. And so I want to take a second first to thank you guys all for being part of this amazing franchise that we're all a part of. But to my question that I have, if you could reimagine your character, and Campbell in your case, any of your characters, you can pick whatever you want. If you could reimagine it in a different way, maybe a different design or a different personality, or just something to make it more yourself, what would you want to do to kind of tweak your character?
I'm gonna take it. I ain't closed it now, I'm gonna open and then shut up. I think some of us will answer the same way. I wouldn't change a thing because I bring everything I got to the character. Everything I got. I leave it all. I leave it all on the microphone. Everything. And if I'm not happy with the take, I insist I do another one because I missed a little something there. So, you know, one could say Goldar is pretty much a one-note character. But I think I brought many notes, and I think that has a lot to do with why he might be kind of more than he may be or could have been if somebody didn't really bring everything. And that's all the different emotions, the frustration, the anger, the humor, etc. So I wouldn't change a thing. Now, that's not to say that I didn't sometimes beg to change a line. Because maybe I thought I might have a better line. And more times than not, I got my line. And that's fun when you know, have the liberty to be able to sculpt it a little more. So, you know, we're actors, we're not writers, directors, but some of us are writers and actors and directors. And when you get a little extra freedom. So in answer to your question, I brought everything I had to begin with. So there you go.
If you talked to me back in the 90s, I would have said I wanted to play Rita, especially when they ran out of the footage. And I did do a screen test once, doing that. And there was some talk about having that happen. And I put on that costume and I thought, oh my God, my neck can't handle this headdress. Right? And, you know, in retrospect, I would say it was a godsend for me to just continue doing the voice. And I'm sure Carla had an issue with not being able to do her voice, you know, if you want to tag on.
I did, as you know, I did my voice throughout my acting, so
yeah,
the whole time I was doing my voice. It's just in post-production they did the
They dropped me in, which isn't easy for an actor who knows how to act to get some voice. I'm sure Machiko Soba wasn't happy with me doing it either, but she didn't speak English. So it was a mix, but as you get older, you say, all right, well, that was my piece. That's my piece. And what a big piece it was. And, it, you know, so I have no regrets.
I think for Camille, obviously, like I'm much further in the future, I would have liked to have had more in person fighting, I think, in her human form. Mostly because I enjoyed it as an actor, to have the challenge of doing a lot of the, well, as much as, you know, I possibly can, of the action work. I really enjoyed it, so I think selfishly, I would have liked to have a little bit more before she morphed into the chameleon warrior. That's about it, though, I think.
Yeah, I've always had this, my biggest frustration, my favorite character, a lot of you know, is Scrosswell. I love Scrosswell. But we have no backstory on him. We don't know anything about him after 3 seasons. And I kind of, in my own head canon, you know, I kind of think I know where he's from and why he is the way he is. And I really kind of secretly wanted maybe him to have a redemptive arc, and you find out he's actually not as bad as you think he is. He's just really hurt. That's just
Gosh, I would have changed your life. The first thing I would have done is gave her a new outfit. The whole time she had the same damn outfit on. Don't you think? I mean, Rita being an empress, you would think she'd have a whole wardrobe. It was the same damn dress. And then the other thing is, when I got the role, I was actually a Taekwondo martial artist because I got the role from auditioning for a movie that was supposed to be from a martial artist, but she had other plans for me. So another thing is, Rita was just so ready for it. She should have got her hands dirty. You never saw her fighting. She was always using her scepter, but I mean, I think that would have been fun if I had a few fighting scenes with the Power Rangers.
Yeah. Or at least with Goldar.
We had a lot of, you know, back and forth tongue to each other, but other than that, you know. I think that would have made it really spicy.
I would say for Trakeena, when I first was told about the character and I had seen some, basically like some renderings of like what the costume was gonna look like or whatever before it was made. In my mind, I thought it would be like stiletto, like very Terry Mugler, you know, like very like edgy fashionista, and I had regular flat boots, which to me was a like wah, wah moment. But I did fight a lot, so like it's impractical. Like, you know, the fashionista in me wanted that for, you know, which is what I do now when I dress up. Right, but yeah, my boots were actually just regular flats, just like the Rangers or whatever. But I didn't realize that you guys didn't get to fight. I got to fight a lot, so that was cool. And yeah, it fits my personality. Yeah, so I like that. But also, I wish a little bit. Nobody knows, to Campbell's point about his character, nobody knows about Trakeena's mom. My dad was in the show, obviously, and I'm half insect or half, you know, creature, but I'm also half human. And so everyone, I never even thought about this until I started doing conventions, and fans are like, what does your mom look like? So, you know, so on those, I kind of wish there was maybe some, you know, some story to go along with that.
Yeah, Zordon was pretty much two-dimensional in the show. It's very kind of flat. I think it would have been a lot of fun if they had found a way to allow for some alternate screen time for the character, whether he was able to like exit the tube at some point and
take a shower.
Or take a different form. Take a different form that might be able to, you know, give advice in the field to the Rangers. Not necessarily fight alongside of them, because I think it's an interesting point that Zordon does not fight with the Rangers. He's just a very encouraging force, and believing in them is very important. But I think it would have been a lot of fun to be able to step outside of the tube and actually be physically present at some point. That would have been very interesting. Yeah.
Like the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
In the 2017 movie, they showed in the backstory.
He was a Ranger.
Yeah.
This is for Campbell, since you voiced many monsters. Is there one that you would say is probably the hardest to do? Because most of them sound very different. I would not guess it was you if I didn't see the credits for you.
They were all hard to do. I would say, it really just kind of depended on the session, how much dialogue I had. I can kind of do all the voices relatively easily, but some of the voices were harder to do, like Snide. Just every time I did Snide, it wrecked my voice for 2 or 3 days. Surprisingly, as easy as doing Cosmo was, there was a few times where if there was too much dialogue, I just gave out halfway through the session. They had to bring me back days later to finish recording. Scrozzle, I don't recall ever having any issues with not finishing Scrozzle, but that is probably one of the more dangerous voices, because in order to achieve that sound, I have to push my voice to the edge of cracking, but not let it crack. So.
The only time I did lose my voice was during the Universal show that we recorded. It was 8 hours doing Rita for way in the early days when that crazy show where the traffic shut down the 101. And but when we were all it wasn't just me in the booth for 2 hours. It was 8 hours with everyone else doing it again and again and again. And I lost my voice on that one. It bounces back, so that was a good thing.
Was that a question?
Is that for everyone, Chris, a question?
Well, I was just say Campbell, because he does so many different ones. I know you guys have done different ones too, but no, it's a fun fact. I like this.
I have a question. If you could be any other villain from any other series